started.
Hi, my name's Charles, and we're back here today working on the Beast. We're going to get the head on it. About the only thing to do is get it back together and wait for the carburetor to come in tomorrow. But we're going to start by putting the head on, so let's do this and get it. Let's see, try to get me putting the head on, okay? Ooh. Uh-oh. Where did that come from? All right. So let me get some of this stuff out of my hand so I can get the head seated in there right on the block here. There's a new gasket on there, so we shouldn't have any problems there. And just find a place to set my bolts here, and we'll get these seated in. You got to make sure these two dowel pins are in there, because it will not seal the head if those dowel pins are not sitting there. They actually guide and help seal everything up, and you have to kind of be careful because they will drop out of there if you're not careful on it. So now that we got it set in there, we're just going to put in the bolts, and we're going to tighten them down enough so we can get it torqued in afterwards. So that usually takes a few minutes here to get them in there. I'm also going to leave them loose because I'm going to put the push rods back in, so if we can get them back in without having to take the valves off and readjust the valves on the motor when we get the carb on tomorrow. So I'm just going to tighten these up real quick, and we will be back in a second, but just continue to watch. Won't take that long to get 4 bolts in, and we got to get the push rods in too. Let me walk over here and get the push rods. We'll go ahead and get them in. Get the bolts in, we'll tighten them almost down, and then we'll put these push rods in and back inside the motor. I cleaned up the motor and all of that. Made sure there's no rust on the cylinders where we had to take this thing off because of the rust. So I don't foresee a problem with this thing starting once I get the carb in, and it's supposed to be in tomorrow by Amazon. So hopefully, if it is, we'll make another video tomorrow detailing us getting the carburetor on and trying to maybe start it up and see what happens. So I'm trying to make sure and update you guys and keep you going, but this is just a little fun little project that need to get finished in that. So just stay with us, and we'll get this done. But I'm going to go ahead and try to get these push rods in real quick. And yeah, we might have a slight little problem trying to get them in. That's why I left those head bolts a little loose, so we could get these in here. And you see, if you just back it up a little bit, after you get them down in there, they will go on top of there. And then you can just make sure it's seated, put it back on there, and go ahead and finish tightening down the bolts. I re-put the motor right about where it was before, so it was sitting at top dead center. Top dead center when I took the head off. So I put it right about back to there, and That should. I'll try to stay out of everybody's way so you can see what I'm doing, but it's important to kind of go at a cross pattern so you don't warp this aluminum head, because it'd be very, very easy to actually take and warp this this head. So it's always best to take and go at a cross pattern so you're tightening them all up about the same time. What I'm going to do before I tighten these head bolts all the way down is I want to make sure that these rocker arms are going to move up and down, because it seems like they got a lot of play in there, and that kind of worries me a little bit. So, well, they're going up and down. Still seems like there's a lot of play, but we can always check that when once we get the motor back together. So we're going to go ahead and set these torque these bolts down. My wrench here is set for 18 pounds of torque. So we'll start with this first one here, and we'll go until it clicks right there. And then we'll go to the next one across from it and do the same thing. Because if you're not careful, you're going to, like I said, you're going to warp this head, and you don't want to do that. So 18 pounds is not a lot, but it's what's required to hold these down without causing any problems. I usually just go back and recheck them, make sure we're okay still. And as you can see, the valves actually tightened up once the head was down there. So we're just going to turn it and see if we got any compression coming out of the engine. Well, there is compression, so we're probably in good shape on that part there. But the motor's turning free, and we're going to see about getting a few more parts on here real quick. As long as I can I don't remember where they go, you know. It's one of those things where sometimes you take this stuff off and you kind of forget where you put it at. But I mean, that's my luck anyhow. So let me get over here into my bolts and get what I need out so we can get these done. Got bolts everywhere, so just trying to figure out which ones you need and which ones you don't need. They're all about the same size. It just takes a lot to get them on, and you gotta get this backing plate off, back on. So this will take a minute because there's only 2 bolts on it, because the other one goes in behind the flywheel cover. So that's where we're at on that part. Okay, so that part's back on. I'm gonna slide this cover on real quick to make sure we can line the bolts up into it. I'll bring it over here, Robert. This cover just goes over here and covers the flywheel, and goes just like that right there. Getting my big hands in here could be a big problem, but we're going to try. Okay. Couple more at the bottom down here. What's the time, Robert? Oh, I was on the video.
12:18.
Okay. Good. A little trouble getting one back on, guys. Let me get a wrench so I can.
Can I go back to the house?
You get that on my video now. So you just stop. I'm almost done. Can you pause that video when you started? I'll find this bolt. Did you pause it?
I'm just gonna pause the thing, sure.
Okay, that's fine. Let's keep it going. Wow. Thought that was. Fit on there. Great. I'm just going to end it. Okay, guys, so you can see what I've done today, and I'm just going to finish tightening these bolts up, and hopefully the carb will come in tomorrow, and we'll give you an update on the carb and show you how to install a carb. Everyone have a great day, and God bless everyone.